Hey guys, tonight we're going somewhere a little grim. But don't worry, you're already doomed. You wake up soaked in the kind of heat that doesn't politely ask permission. It simply wraps itself around you. A thick, wet towel you didn't request. Your eyelids stick. Your knees stick. Your thoughts stick. And as you blink through the glint of dawn rising over volcanic hills, you realize with a certain half-hearted dread, you're in 18th century Java. The air smells like sugarcane, smoke, and something quietly fermenting. Birds are already gossiping in the banana trees. You, meanwhile, are the wrong kind of shiny and the wrong kind of dressed. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Comment where you're watching from and what time it is so we can all suffer through history together. But from the safety of memory phone. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're barefoot, and you already regret it. The soil here isn't just warm, it's the kind of hot that hints at active tectonic unease. Like the earth is cooking something beneath you and forgot to turn the stove off. You shuffle toward the village, past palm-thatched rooftops and the low murmur of life beginning. Women cracking open jackfruit with carved bone wedges. Men carrying baskets of fish that still look personally offended about being caught. A rooster tries to assert dominance but gives up halfway through the crow, sounding more existential than territorial. Everyone looks, well, better than you. Their sarongs are expertly pleated and fall like draped silk. Even the toddlers seem effortlessly elegant, and there you are, sweating like a boiled yam and clearly new to this whole existing without embarrassing your ancestors thing. The local beauty standards you soon find are not optional. You've barely arrived, and already a group of aunties is side-eyeing your skin tone with polite horror. In 18th century Java, paler skin is prized. Not because it's foreign, but because it means you don't work outside like a peasant. You, however, look like you just crawled out of a rice paddy with a sunburned neck and a personality disorder. Someone hands you a bowl, rice powder, your new best friend and worst enemy. You're supposed to smear it on to lighten your skin up. Kind of do-it-yourself nobility. You dab some on your face. It immediately clumps in your eyebrow hairs and cakes into your nostrils. You sneeze and half your face turns into a dusty puff. An old woman tuts and points to a smoother paste being applied to her granddaughter's cheeks clearly. You're using the beginner tier. You try to recover by adjusting your sarong, which has decided to betray you by loosening in slow motion. The fabric, hand-dyed and thick with humidity, sags like a towel on a rainy clothesline. Every step you take requires a minor prayer to the gods of modesty. In this culture, to be beautiful is to be composed not just physically, but spiritually. You must glide, not stomp, smile, not grimace, and yet here you are, stomping and grimacing, looking like you lost a bet with a fruit stand. The local children watch you with quiet amusement, the kind reserved for a people who don't know they're the joke yet. You try to mimic the poised walk of a noble woman passing by. She balances a basket of tamarind on her head like it's a tiara. You balance your own thoughts, and they immediately topple like angry coconuts. The market smells distractingly good roasted peanuts. Clove smoke, durian husks, but it doesn't distract from the growing awareness that you're filling a beauty contest you didn't even enter. A boy hands you a mirror made of polished bronze. You don't know if it's a gift or a hint. Your face glows like a powdered donut in the sun, streaked and glistening. Your upper lip permanently moist. Modern dash day comparison. Imagine trying to take a professional headshot in a sauna while someone judges your pose. Meanwhile, your phone is dead, but so are your chances of blending in. There's no such thing as casual here. Even the peasants know how to drape their cloth just so. How to knot a sash with the quiet authority of someone who could out-elegant you in their sleep. You, on the other hand, are developing a sort of panicked shuffle that attracts dogs and offends spirits. A passing priest raises a carved eyebrow at your appearance. You try to smile. He mutters something into a prayer bead and walks away. You are not sure if that was a blessing or a curse. Either way, your nose is itching from the powder and you're fairly certain your dignity has already fled into the nearest banyan tree. Historians still argue whether these beauty rituals were reserved for nobility or mimicked by commoners striving upward. But one thing is clear. Everyone participates in this performance, whether or not they make the stage. You spot a young woman applying crushed turmeric to her arms in the shade, her skin gleaming like polished gold. She looks divine. You try the same and end up looking like you lost a fight with a condiment packet. It stains your palms and your pride dot as the sun climbs. You start noticing other things, the way people sit with their backs impossibly straight, the precision with which they fold banana leaves into serving dishes, even the gentle tilt of their heads as they listen. It's all part of the aesthetic, effortlessness born of lifelong effort. You sit beneath a tree, trying to recover your will to be seen. A rooster approaches, stares at you for a full 5 seconds, then walks away. Unimpressed, you pluck at the damp folds of your sarong. Remember that clump of rice powder in your eyebrow. It's now fused with sweat, forming a paste that could bond bricks. Someone offers you coconut water. You sip, grateful, and then immediately cough as it goes down, wrong, and sprays your carefully powdered chin. Elegant, truly. A young girl points to your nose and giggles. You glance at your reflection in a puddle. It's not flattering. You look like a half-drowned mime with a tropical skin condition. But don't worry, this is just the beginning. You haven't even gotten to the part where your teeth get lacquered. Your hairline is forcibly remodeled, and your sleep routine involves bamboo mats and the occasional scorpion. For now, take comfort in this. You're learning, slowly, painfully, publicly. And the aunties, they're still watching. You swear one of them just shook her head. You wake to the sound of someone grinding something. It's not rhythmic like a drum, or soothing like wind. It's deliberate, metal against stone. Somewhere behind you, you sit up, your back stiff from sleeping on woven bamboo. Your shoulders somehow more tired than your legs, and the sound gets louder. A smiling older woman waves you over with a gesture so casual it almost hides the menace. She's sitting cross-legged, chewing something red and stringy, her mouth stained in a way that looks like she just finished eating a bouquet of bleeding flowers. You inch closer. It's not blood. It's Betel, and apparently it's your turn. In 18th century Java, black teeth are considered refined, not just healthy, beautiful. A mouth full of bright white pearls. That's what poor laborers and unfortunate children have. But deep, polished black, that's a sign of control, of status, of someone who doesn't just chew Betel, but embraces it. Someone like you, except you're visibly trembling. She hands you a small packet of betel nut wrapped in a pepper leaf, dusted with lime powder. You place it in your mouth like it's a cursed artifact. The taste hits immediately, earthy, bitter, oddly spicy. Your jaw tingles, your gums sting. Moments later, your spit turns red, like you've bitten your tongue clean off. But no, this is normal. You're blending in, sort of. The woman gestures toward a flat piece of metal beside her. A file. A little file, not a delicate tool, but something that looks like it once belonged in a blacksmith's shed. Loku, she says gently, which, as you understand it, is short for go ahead. ruin your enamel like an aristocrat. You hold the file in your hands, and your teeth clench in instinctive rebellion. Filing teeth was part of a beauty rite, a transition into womanhood, and a symbol of discipline. But there's no Novocaine here, no numbing gel, no podcast to distract you. Historians still argue whether tooth blackening had health benefits or just a ceremonial allure. But it's widely accepted that it served as both cosmetic statement and cultural barrier. Black teeth set the Javanese, elite apart from foreign colonizers, while Dutch traders were busy promoting toothpaste and Western hygiene. Locals knew, nothing says refined like a smile the color of volcanic glass. You make it one pass with the file before immediately, regretting everything about being alive. Your jaw buzzes, the metal tastes like blood memory. You pretend you're adjusting your sarong just to delay the next stroke. But your audience isn't moving. They're patient, so you press again. Eventually, they intervene. Someone takes the file and shows you how to do it properly with slow, even strokes, while sucking in air to cool the teeth. You mimic them. You are not convincing. Your teeth are not yet blackened, only offended. Your gums begin to throb like a bad decision. Betel not helps, slightly. It's a mild stimulant, enough to fog your discomfort in a red-stained haze. You start to laugh, then cough, then hiccup. A rooster walks past you slowly, as if performing a judgmental parade. You try to smile, but the red-streaked corners of your lips give the vibe of a very apologetic demon. One woman offers you a mirror. This time, you hesitate, but curiosity wins. You glance. Your teeth are unevenly darkened, some more than others. You look like a villain in a children's puppet show. Remember the rice powder from earlier? It's started to flake now. Your forehead is patchy. Your cheeks look like a badly dusted cake, and you've added blood orange teeth to the aesthetic. You are a moving mural of effort and failure. Someone claps politely. It's not sarcasm. It's approval. You tried. That's what matters. Beauty here isn't about instant perfection, it's ritual, commitment, evolution over weeks and months. You've made your first marked dot as you rise. Your legs wobble slightly. The Betel is working its magic horse at effects. You're alert, but not in a helpful way. More like a squirrel after 3 espresso shots. You try to walk. You succeed in a sort of diagonal zigzag. Modern-day comparison. Imagine whitening your teeth with permanent marker while on a treadmill in 90% humidity. But socially, it's applauded. You make your way to the shaded part of the village, where a group of teenagers is laughing gently, spitting red streaks into coconut husks and sharing tips on application techniques. Some have black teeth so lustrous they reflect sunlight. Others are midway. Like you, there's a sort of pride in the transition. You are not beautiful yet, but you've committed to becoming uncomfortable. That's what matters. A woman points out your gum line. You try to smile. Wider. She nods and applies more lime to your next petal leaf, as if encouraging you to go deeper. Your stomach, however, starts having opinions, loud, gurgling opinions. The kind that suggest maybe betel nut isn't exactly a beginner food group. You excuse yourself to the riverbank, which is where most private suffering happens. There, you dip your face into the water. It's cool and forgiving, until you see your reflection, again dot now. Your eyes are ringed with powder streaks. Your lips are red. Your teeth are half done, and your entire aura screams enthusiastic failure still. It's better than before. You sit beside a tree, trying to breathe through the taste. The betel lingers, so does the awareness that you're still very much a stranger here, less a visitor. More an awkward auditionee for a pageant that never ends. Behind you, someone begins singing softly an old folk tune. breathy and slow. It mixes with the rustle of palm fronds and the steady clink of grinding Betel ingredients. It's oddly comforting, like being tucked in with ceremonial discomfort and gentle scorn. A girl approaches, hands you a cloth, a darker tone than your own sarong, patterned with wild orchids. She ties it round your waist for you tight, but elegantly so. It hides the sweat stains and gives you a second chance at grace. You thank her with a nod, and she grins a full, black-toothed grin that seems to say, it gets worse, but also better. There's a phrase someone mumbles as you return to the group. Kantikechiyusaha, beauty is effort, not effortless, but forged through daily habits, minor rituals, a kind of gentle suffering wrapped in floral print. You lie back on the mat, legs stretched, arms limp, teeth buzzing. A mosquito lands on your arm and pauses, clearly confused by the turmeric and Betel mix oozing through your pores. You swat lazily and miss. It flees, the sun begins to dip, casting long shadows over the huts, the rice fields, and the quiet red spitting. Rituals of beauty unfolding like clockwork. Your teeth hurt, your gums tingle, but somewhere deep inside, you feel a shift. Not prettier, but maybe just maybe less fun. Your teeth are buzzing, not in a good way. More like they're quietly protesting like tenants who've just realized the landlord plans to renovate with a hammer and a dream. You run your tongue along them and immediately regret it. They feel like carved stone now, uneven, sore, gritty, still. There's no time to linger. The aunties are back. One of them raises a hand toward your forehead and clocks her tongue. You stiffen instinctively, thinking maybe another powdering is in store. But no, this is something else. Hairline correction. Specifically, plucking dot in the cool shade of a carved wooden veranda. A young woman sits with a shallow bowl of water, a thread between her fingers, and an unsettling sense of calm. You are gently lowered to her lap. The others giggle softly. You smile nervously. One of them offers a mango slice as if that will compensate for the violence about to unfold. It won't. In 18th century Javanese beauty culture, a high, rounded hairline is a mark of elegance. A wide brow, smooth and clean, frames the face like a crescent moon. And if you don't naturally have that shape, you make it, one hair at a time. The first pluck feels like a bee bite. The second feels like a promise broken. By the third, your soul has already detached and is floating somewhere over the rice fields, reconsidering reincarnation. Your scalp is screaming, but your face must not. Beauty, after all, is poise, even when your follicles are being evicted without notice. Historians still argue whether this tradition had spiritual roots. Was it aesthetic only? Or did the high brow symbolize intelligence, divinity, refinement? All you know is, your eyebrows are fleeing south out of self-preservation. After the third row, your plucker pauses and dabs your forehead with rosewater. It stings, of course. She murmurs something kind, which you cannot hear over the high-pitched ringing of your dignity leaving your body. Meanwhile, your modern-day comparison is this. Imagine someone shaping your eyebrows using only a fishing line, a prayer, and a total disregard for painkillers on a moving train. In July, you try to distract yourself by staring up at the carved ceiling. Birds, flowers, curling patterns that make no sense but somehow calm you. A lizard darts across, a beam overhead. He stops, blinks. You blink back. You're both trapped. Once your new hairline is deemed satisfactory, meaning you now resemble a porcelain figurine with commitment, issues the woman nods. You're allowed to sit up. The world tilts slightly. Your vision blurry from tears you insist are from the light, not the trauma. You stumble toward the washing bowl. Splash cold water on your face. Big mistake. Your fresh plucking burns like you've just applied wasabi to your third eye. Someone hands you a headscarf, beautiful, patterned, suspiciously strategic. You wrap it round your head like a grateful hermit crab returning to its shell. The scarf hides the redness, mostly, but the day's rituals aren't over. Of course not. Next stop. Your hair. Not the part they just ripped out the rest of it. Javanese women of status oil their hair daily. Coconut, jasmine, candle nut. It's massaged in, combed smooth, braided tight, and then pinned into elegant buns that hold like sculpture. Yours, by contrast, is currently doing an interpretive dance of defiance. The sweat, the humidity, the trauma, it's not cooperating. A girl leads you to a stone bench beside a garden. She holds a wooden cone and a bottle of warm oil. You sit, back straight, and she begins. At first, it feels nice. The oil is soothing, the comb gentle. But as she works through your knots, the gentle turns to stern. She is not combing so much as retraining your scalp. Every snag is addressed with firm, motherly disapproval. Your neck tightens, your jaw clenches. She adds more oil and mutters to herself in a tone that suggests your hair is a project she did not sign. Up for a dot by the end. Your scalp feels oddly exposed, vulnerable, but your hair slick, shiny, ranged like a crescent moon fallen into a coil is beautiful. You look like someone with their life together. From the forehead up, anyway. As you stand, you nearly slip on a discarded mango peel. Remember that mango slice from earlier? It's now part of your foot's tragic arc across the garden stones. You catch yourself just in time, but your bun wobbles like a shaken pudding. A woman pins it. She does not smile. You are learning, painfully, that beauty here is not a private indulgence. It is a daily labor, performed publicly, and judged silently. No compliments, only corrections. If someone says nothing, that means acceptable. If they frown, try again. If they laugh, you should start over, back in the village. You notice women sitting along the road, grinding sandalwood into paste, mixing floral oils, applying crushed bark to their arms. Everyone is doing something to maintain the illusion of effortless grace. You're just trying to walk without unraveling, and still, there's more. A young boy hands you a palm leaf fan. You assume it's a kind gesture. No, it's an accessory. One that must be held just so, moved just so, to keep your face dry without disturbing your new look. There's a technique to it. You fail it instantly. Modern comparison. Trying to keep a full face of makeup flawless during a summer subway ride while holding a mini fan and pretending you're not sweating through your clothes. Except it's expected, and everyone is watching. Your reflection in a polished copper bowl shows a strange version of yourself. Red-rimmed eyes, shiny black teeth, an overly round forehead, a dripping fan hand. You look almost like someone who belongs here. Almost. You sit by a fire as dusk falls. The air smells of cloves and charcoal. A girl beside you touches your elbow and smiles gently. She points to her own forehead, then yours. She nods, approval, for the first time. Something warms in your chest that isn't heat stroke. You still hurt. Your scalp feels like it's been sanded. Your teeth ache. Your jaw is tight. But there's a rhythm here, a logic, a shared understanding that beauty is not meant to be easy. It's meant to show care, discipline. Entrance. You lie back against the wooden post of the porch, listening to the soft click of insects and the far-off murmur of a gamelan drum. Somewhere nearby, someone is grinding another betel nut. The sound is no longer threatening, just part of the music. You are not beautiful yet, but you're in the system. You're playing the game, and if nothing else, you've earned the right to sweat through it with the best of them. You awaken with your cheek stuck to a wooden floorboard and your bun flattened like it collapsed. So for a moment, you are not sure whether it's morning or you've been gently embalmed overnight. Your limbs are stiff. Your lips taste like wilted jasmine, and your left eyebrow, well, it appears to have surrendered in the night, curling ever so slightly against the odds. The antes are already up. Of course they are. It's time for the next step in your transformation. Dressing. Not just putting on clothes. No. Becoming your clothes. You're led behind a screen of woven bamboo where an older woman waits with a bundle of cloth and the air of someone who's about to tell you every decision you've ever made is in correct. She holds a batik sarong indigo and turmeric dyed, hand stamped with tiny waxed vines that coal like secrets. It's beautiful. It's also stiff, wide, and longer than your self-esteem. She unwraps it, then wraps you into it. Not once, not twice, several times. Each fold is pulled with the precise strength of someone who's made peace with breaking ribs for the sake of symmetry. You try to breathe, you can't. You try to sit, you won't. The sarong hugs your waist, then drops in gentle pleats down your legs, falling just above your dust-coated ankles. It weighs more than you expect, as if cloth, too, participates in judgment here. Now comes the kabaya, the elegant blouse, sheer but stiff, embroidered with golden thread. It buttons diagonally, pinching under your arms and flaring just enough at the hips to suggest grace. Yours doesn't fit. You are reminded, silently, that you have not earned this shape yet. But no matter. It is fastened. The collar chafes, the underarms itch. The embroidery scratches like guilt, and yet, when they hand you the mirror, you pause. You don't look like you. You look like someone with secrets. Someone who might know how to stir a potion or command a court or offer a cryptic smulliver. Spiced tea. Someone elegant, mysterious, mostly uncomfortable but stunning in the way a thunderstorm is stunning. Especially when it's headed directly for you. Of course, there's a catch. You're expected to move in this outside. The earth is already steaming, and the air has the consistency of overcooked rice. You attempt to step. The sarong grips your thighs like a clingy octopus. Another step. You feel something pop, probably your dignity. A younger girl shows you how to walk. It's not a stride. It's a shuffle with ambition. The sarong must never shift, never bunch, never wrinkle. To do so would imply chaos in the soul.modern comparison. Imagine trying to gracefully cross a hot parking lot in a silk pencil skirt to sizes too small while balancing a tray of soup. The trick, apparently, is all in the hips. Sway, don't, step, float. Don't march, you try. You do not float. You flew MP. The anti-sigh. Then gather to fix your outfit again. They tighten the sarong. They tuck a flower behind your ear. They add a sash of woven gold-threaded fabric and tie it in a bow that could probably qualify for minor religious status. And then the walk continues. You pass others in their own layered ensembles, many in long batik trousers and blazers stiff with starch. Women in kabayas so tight they breathe in verses. The marketplace opens before you. Rows of woven mats stacked with ginger, jackfruit, cloves, and salted fish. All stewing gently in the mid-morning heat. You begin to sweat. Of course, you do. But now your sweat has nowhere to go. It collects beneath the fabric, pools, lingers. Your underarms feel like soup. Your back is slick. Your thighs are negotiating a hostile treaty. Remember that high forehead. It's now streaked with perspiration. Your carefully powdered brow dissolving into a patchy mosaic of effort. You use your palm leaf fan, fluttering it with urgency. The motion dislodges your flower. A dog steals it, Someone hands you a bowl of shaved ice with palm sugar and jelly cubes. You take a bite and immediately feel something cold and alive slide down your throat. It's vaguely delicious, vaguely terrifying. Your kabaya now has a sticky spot shaped like regret. Historians still debate whether daily dress among Javanese aristocracy was symbolic first or simply a practical reinforcement of hierarchy. But it's obvious this isn't just clothing. It's choreography, a mobile portrait of order, discipline, and tactile discomfort. You spot a noble woman walking beside the palace gates. Her kabaya sparkles in the sun. Her sarong flows like water held in perfect form. She smiles with darkened teeth and strides as if her bones are made of wind. You try to mimic her gait. You almost trip over a chicken. Your footwear, by the way, is a pair of slippery leather sandals that offer zero grip and negative arch support. With every step, they whisper you are not ready for this. By noon, your toes have developed a subtle betrayal lock, spreading in directions evolution never intended. Still, you are complimented. Sort of. A vendor nods at your form. An old man calls. You luma and rap you not bad. Another auntie mumbles that you don't completely disgrace the fabric. Your heart swells. Then your stomach growls. You realize that beneath all this cloth, your body still wants food, and maybe water, and maybe to sit. You find a stone bench beneath a breadfruit tree. It's not comfortable, but it doesn't require balance. You perch there, fanning yourself with renewed commitment. The sarong bunches slightly. Someone gasps. You fix it instantly. Crisis averted. Modern comfort check. Your underwear, if you were allowed any, would now be soup. But you're not allowed any. So instead, it's just the soup of your thoughts. Simmering beneath ceremonial fabric, you spot another group preparing for a celebration. More gold thread, more tightly wrapped torsos, more women straightening each other's seams with a seriousness usually reserved for a surgery. There is no casual here, no hoodie equivalent. No, I'm just running to the store look, even fetching. Water involves some degree of poetic geometry. You try to stand again. Your knees disagree, but you rise anyway, because beauty in this world is not about how you feel. It's about how you endure while looking like you don't. Your hair is frizzing again. The oil is breaking down. You pretend not to notice. The sun is relentless now. Your fan is limp. Your spine is one continuous prayer. But you're still upright, still folded, still part of the scene that has to count for something. You wake to the sound of crackling. Not fire, though it feels like it might be inside your skull, but charcoal, sizzling, popping, releasing its smoky perfume into the morning air. Someone nearby is tending a burner made of clay. Fanning it gently, and atop the glowing coals sits a brass bowl of flower petals, bark chips, and what might be slices of dried banana peel. You're not sure whether you're being prepped for a ceremony or cooked like ceremonial rice. This is your introduction to scented smoke, or rather, being smoked. In 18th century Java, perfuming the body wasn't a matter of spritz and go. It was immersive. You didn't wear scent. You marinated in it. You're directed to a wooden stool set within a large, loosely woven cloth canopy. Like a makeshift tent, the bowl of smoldering incense is placed underneath your seat. You sit. You wait, and the smoke begins to rise. At first, it's gentle, sweet, earthy, floral. Then it gets ambitious. The canopy traps it. Your nostrils flare. Your eyes water. Your pores open like tiny screaming mouths. The goal is to infuse your body with these aromas, to let the skin absorb them, to banish unwanted odors, to signal status, refinement, and maybe even spiritual clarity. But mostly, what you're signaling is discomfort. The heat from below isn't searing, but it builds. Your thighs start to glisten. Your underarms whisper threats. The damp fabric of your sarong begins to suction to your skin like it has loyalty issues. You shift slightly. The smoke shifts with you. It's clingy like a toddler in a thunderstorm. And as if that wasn't enough, the mosquitoes rive. They don't care about your smoky purification ritual. They do not respect the ceremony. In fact, it seems the flower-scented fumes invite them. They hover, they land. You swat with dignity. You miss with less dignity. One lands on your eyebrow you recently plucked. Tenderized eyebrow, and you slap it without thinking. The sting of pain that follows is a reminder that your quest for beauty is also a test of reflex control. A nearby woman smiles. She fans more smoke your way. She says the mix includes jasmine, champaca, vetiver, cinnamon bark, and the dried rind of sour fruit. It's a recipe passed down from court ladies who used to scent themselves before meeting royalty. You, in this moment, are beginning to doubt their sanity. Historians still argue whether the fumigation rituals were purely cosmetic or also medicinal. Some claim they helped with menstrual regularity. Others say they were a courtly expectation. Everyone agrees, though, that the process was involved. You sit longer than anyone should have to. The canopy fills with heat and floral memory. Your skin starts to prickle. Your eyes twitch. Your thoughts slow, then melt, then reforms are vague. Longing for a modern deodorant. Modern-day comparison. Imagine being trapped inside a luxury candle that is also a malfunctioning sauna. There's no off switch. There's only you, the smoke, and the sound of your thighs gently steaming. Eventually, someone pulls back the cloth and lets in the air. It hits you like mercy. Your skin is soaked. Your hair smells like a high-end incense shop. You step out, dazed and fragrant. But your day is not done. Now comes oiling. Your skin, freshly smoked, is rubbed with scented oils: coconut steeped in frangipani, sesame infused with sandalwood, or clove mixed with citron. The oil is warmed in a sunlit dish and ladled directly onto your shoulders like you're a pastry, in need of a gloss finish. It feels good for about 4 seconds. Then the sun returns with a vengeance. The oil begins to cook. Your skin gleams. Yes, but like a lantern, everything sticks. Insects find you irresistible. Dust clings. You try to wave it off and leave behind handprints in oil. Like a crime scene painted in gloss. And then the aunties begin their inspection. They look at your arms. They test for smoothness. They press a finger into your cheek and frown at how slowly the indentation fades. One of them offers you a paste made of crushed mung beans and turmeric. You're expected to apply it. You do. Of course. It stains. Of course it does. A golden green smear now streaks your forearm. Someone nods. Someone else brings more. You begin to suspect the entire beauty regimen is actually a team-building exercise in suffering. Remember your sarong from earlier? It's now transparent in places, thanks to the oil. You try to adjust. It clings harder. The world is beginning to feel like an extremely complicated steam bath you can't leave. You're handed a cup of water infused with lemongrass and pandan. You sip. It helps. Then it dribbles onto your already oiled chin. One of the aunties dabs your face with a cloth like you're a prize cow at a wedding. Your dignity is not just gone, it's being woven into a decorative fan somewhere. You're told to rest. But where? The bamboo mat you're offered is covered in tiny flower petals. You lie down. The petals stick. You roll over. Now you smell like a haunted bouquet. Modern comparison. This is like preparing for a date by bathing in perfume, coating yourself in baby oil, and then rolling round in a herb garden during a heat wave. Still, you begin to notice something else. The women round you are glowing, not in the magazine cover sense, but in the quiet confidence of people who have done the work. They shimmer with ritual. They smell like poetry. They move like breeze. You, despite the stickiness and the oil-slicked thighs, start to feel included. The girl who helped you yesterday ties your sash again, this time tighter, more elegantly. She doesn't say anything, but she hums. It's a melody you heard earlier by the incense fire. You hum back, uncertain, and she grins dot a bond, smoky, floral, slip rivet there. You are now considered lightly prepared. For what? Unknown. Possibly more rituals, possibly marriage, possibly just the next layer of sweat. But you're learning the rhythm. You stake. But in a socially acceptable way, you gleam. But in culturally curated zones, you're not comfortable but. You're getting closer dot at the edge of the village. A drum sounds. It's slow, low. Calling everyone to the courtyard. The antis gather. You gather. Your throng squeaks slightly with each step. Your shadow stretches in the late light tall, draped, gleaming. If someone saw you from a distance, they might mistake you for someone important, or at least someone committed, which, let's face it, you are. You're standing in a circle now. Not quite a ceremony, but not one either. It seems like everything here exists in that ambiguous space between performance and expectation, ritual and rue. Time. People gather without rush, without announcement, just the soft signal of a gong, the shifting shadows of sunset, and the shared agreement that this is what happens next. A girl, barely 12, holds a tray of little glass bottles, one by one. The women take one. So do you. Your bottle is warm, in your hand, cloudy with oil and something, floaty inside. Dried petals, fermented fruit, a tiny spill. You're told to apply it generously. You do, immediately. Your hands smell like cloves and lime. The scent is rich, ancient, slightly medicinal. You rub it on your neck, behind your ears, under your arms, across the crook of your elbows. Someone corrects you. There's a ritual order. Neck, then feet, then hands. You've already failed. Again. The smell is strong. Your skin is already oiled from earlier. But this scent is layered on top. You're beginning to feel like a walking apothecary drawer. The sun dips lower, and then, of course, they light the torches. Great pillars of palm husk and resin burn around the courtyard, casting long, swaying shadows and releasing yet more smoke into the air. But this smoke is different. Not perfumed, defensive. Mosquitoes, it turns out, do not care how beautiful you smell. They care only that you exist, and to them, you're above it, wrapped in organza a dotso. The Javanese have another tool in their kit, Syrian incense, made from dried husks, bamboo, and the crumbled corpses of bitter herbs. It burns slow and ugly, but mosquitoes hate it. Unfortunately, your lungs might too. You sit cross-legged on a mat beside the others. The torches crackle. Someone fans the smoke your way. You thank them with a wheeze. This is not casual beauty. This is maintenance warfare. Historians still argue whether the nightly application of scented oils and strategic smoke rituals served a more symbolic role, purifying the soul as well as the body or wet. Or it was simply the most socially acceptable way to survive tropical evenings without being drained by insects the size of modest grapes. Your throng is sticking again. You adjust it silently. The girl beside you does the same, but makes it look like a dance move. You think about crying, but you don't have the energy. Plus, your tears would probably attract ants. You're handed a wooden comb and told to refresh your bun. You tug gently. The hair holds, but only barely. The oil has turned it from sculpture to suggestion. You redo the twist, feeling every bobby. Pin like a personal insult from the gods of elegance. A beetle lands on your collarbone. You flinch. A woman beside you flicks it off without looking, then returns to massaging oil into her forearms. Grace like this is earned. You realize, passed down, hour by hour, drip by smoky, sticky drip. Modern dash day comparison. Imagine getting ready for a black tie gala, outdoors in a swamp. With natural products only, and any failure to look serene might result in public shunning or a surprise poetry performance about your ass. Hame, you lie back for a moment on the mat, hoping the bamboo slats beneath will cool your spine. They don't. They're warm, possibly sentient. A small lizard skitters across your ankle. You don't move. You're past panic. You've reached philosophical surrender. One of the women begins humming. Others join in. It's not a song in the Western sense, no clear melody or chorus. More like a pattern of rising and falling breaths. It weaves through the smoke. You close your eyes and feel it wrap round you. And for a flickering second, you do feel beautiful. Not glamorous, not polished, but present. You smell like cloves. Your skin is warm. Your clothes are holding. You haven't been bitten in 10 full minutes. These are victories now. The firelight dances on the cheeks of the women round you. Some laugh, some braid each other's hair, some gently massage their own ankles. There's a rhythm here, an unspoken understanding that taking care of the body is not vanity, it's community upkeep. Everyone participates, and everyone notices if you don't. You sip from a ceramic cup passed your way, tamarind and lemongrass, sweet, sour, soothing. You feel it settle into your belly like a friendly stone. Then someone starts brushing your shoulders with a frond dipped in cooled rice water. No explanation, just an act of care. You accept it. You close your eyes. You lean in. Remember your scalp from earlier. It still itches faintly. Your eyebrow stings. Your teeth ache. Your inner thighs could start a fire from sheer friction. But somehow, it all blurs under the hum of the evening and the fragrant haze curling round your ankles. A boy walks past with a woven fan twice the size of his torso. He waves it toward the center of the group, pushing the smoke round like a lazy tide. The mosquitoes back off. You sigh, victory again. The aunties nod, almost imperceptibly. Not approval. Exactly. More like recognition. You've lasted this far. You haven't broken. You're still here, and now they trust you with a final layer, a fine powder, made of crushed jasmine and rice starch, is passed around. Each woman dips a fingertip in and dots it onto her cheeks, chin, and temples. It smells faintly of dough and moonlight. You follow. Your face feels tighter now, slightly cooler. You catch your reflection in a polished brass bowl face glowing, hair pinned, shoulders slick, eyes haunted but shimmering. Modern day, you would take a selfie. This version of you simply breathes and tries not to sweat. A goat bleats in the distance, a dog yawns. Somewhere, a drum pulses once, twice, then silence. The ritual is over for the night. You rise with the others, bones creaking like old furniture. Your throng has fused to your thighs. Your foot has gone numb. But you move like someone who belongs because now you almost do. The smoke thins, the stars come out. You walk back toward your sleeping mat, skin radiant, spirit dented, senses soaked. And the mosquitoes, well, they'll be back. But so will the oil. So will the powder. So will the fan. This is your life now. You wake up sticky, not the endearing. Dewy kind of sticky, more like left out in the sun and gently basted in your own marinade kind of sticky. Every part of your body that can fold has folded. Every fold is now a microclimate. You shift on the bamboo mat, and your skin makes a noise usually reserved for removing price stickers off glass. But it's a new day, and today's focus, Skin like candle wax. Not in color, exactly, but in texture. Smooth, unblemished, glossy, unreasonably fragrant. You are told that to be truly beautiful in 18th century Java, your skin should shimmer, but not shine. It should reflect light softly, like a prayer, not sharply like an accusation. So, you're brought to the edge of the village, where a low wooden table sits under the canopy of banana leaves. Bowls are lined up like potion ingredients. Crushed mung beans, rice flour, turmeric, a dish of coconut, floating hibiscus petals, and a small pestle, carved from teak wood and deeply stained from years of grinding, other hopefuls toward radiance. You kneel, and the mixing begins. You're handed a thick, cool paste made of crushed green beans and rice flour. It smells earthy and faintly sour, like something your modern fridge would disapprove of. You are expected to apply it generously. You begin with your arms. It spreads with surprising resistance. Like wet sand, you smear it across your shoulders, your collarbone, your thighs, everywhere. It immediately begins to dry, clinging to every crease like it's auditing you for a tax fraud. Then the scrubbing begins. A girl with quiet hands starts rubbing your arms in slow, circular motions. The dried paste begins to crumble, taking with it flakes of skin, drops of sweat, and the last remnants of your hope. It hurts, not terribly, just consistently. Like being exfoliated by someone with emotional distance and very strong thumbs. Modern day comparison. Think of a spa day. But the spa is staffed by judgmental grandmothers, and the exfoliant could also patch a canoe. This is called lulur, traditional body scrub passed down by palace women. A pre-wedding rite, a weekly polishing, a literal erosion of the outer self. Beauty, here, isn't applied, it's unearthed. Your skin is now tingling, raw but radiant. You feel like a peeled fruit. But they're not done. Now comes the balaran, herbal wrap, thick and sticky like cooked custard. It's made from herbs, flowers, and things you don't recognize. It's slathered on with palm fronds. You sit in the sun, wrapped in muslin. While it soaks in, you are, essentially, a human dumpling. Your thighs steam. Your forehead tightens. Something on your back begins to itch. You try to scratch it. You can't. The wrap holds you like a guilt trip. A woman pats your ankle. Good, she says. You're unsure if she means your posture or your compliance. You nod anyway. You sit like that for what feels like an hour. The sun moves. A rooster shouts at the sky. A child throws a mango pit. It lands near your foot. You do not flinch. You have transcended discomfort, or maybe just blacked out from it. Historians still debate the true purpose of lulur and its cousin rituals. Some argue they were about spiritual cleansing, shedding bad energy. Others insist it was simply the only way to feel soft after living in constant heat, grit, and societal expectation. Either way, the result is the same. Very clean suffering. Finally, you are led to a small hut beside a stream. You're unwrapped, like a present that's been left too long under the tree. The paste has dried to your skin in patches, especially behind the knees. You shuffle toward a wooden basin and begin to wash. The water is cold, glorious. Every rinse sends a shiver through your spine. Your skin begins to glow, not with magic, but with sheer relief. Remember that first day, when your skin felt like overcooked tapioca under all that rice powder. Now, it's different, still tender, still weirdly slick, but smoother. You run a hand along your arm and feel less like a guest, more like a local art project. Then, they bring the oil again. This time, you expect it. You brace. A light layer is massaged in, trapping the water beneath your skin, sealing you like fresh produce. You glisten. Yes, But now you understand it. This is not shine for shine's sake. It's signal. It says, I am tended, I am maintained, I have suffered correctly. Modern comparison. Imagine walking out of a spot treatment with 10 layers of product, still slightly damp, and being told you're not done until someone checks your elbow glow. Which brings us to elbow. Inspections. Yes, elbow smoothness here is essential. Cracked, darkened elbows suggest neglect, aging, too much labor. You present your arm. The woman presses a thumb to the joint, frowns, rubs a bit harder, hands you a sliver of mango bark. You are now expected to rub this bark gently in circles on your own elbows until they pass inspection. You do. It stings. You continue. Eventually, someone nods. You pass. The rest of the day is spent air drying in shade, lying on a slatted bench with flower petals in your hair and small ants occasionally mistaking your shins for home. Why? You no longer flinch. You are, by now, at peace with the ecosystem of your own service. You doze. Not fully asleep, just a drifting awareness that sways with the bamboo, the leaf shadows, the distant sounds of mortar and pestle grinding tomorrow's discomfort. When you wake again, your skin feels like a candle, not hot, just smooth, soft, slightly waxy. You don't know if it's beautiful by your old standards, but here it earns you a new kind of glance, respect, admiration, or maybe just recognition. The girl from before braids a flower into your hair, cantic. She says, beautiful. You smile. Your lips crack slightly from the sun. But that's fine. You oil them next. You wake up mid-stitch tot at some point during the night, possibly in your sleep. Someone placed a needle between your fingers and a length of golden thread across your lap. Now, the sun is rising, the birds are screaming politely, and you're expected to complete a task that requires fine motor skills, patience, and above all a cultural grace you absolutely do not possess. Welcome to Busana Kabaya. Version good luck threading that. Today is about clothes again. Not just wearing them, but earning them. In 18th century Georgia, women of noble or courtly status were expected to stitch parts of their own ceremonial attire. It wasn't just about craft, it was about character. Your seam was a measure of your sturdiness. Your stitch length reflected your inner rhythm. And if your gold thread snagged or bunched, well, so did your reputation. You look down at the fabric in your lap. It's a square of silk so fine, it feels like breath. The thread gleams like morning light filtered through temple incense. The needle, however, is blunter than your current sense of purpose. A woman beside you demonstrates. Her fingers glide through the fabric. The thread follows, obedient and shimmering. She moves like someone pouring tea or reciting a poem through her hands. You try to copy. Your first stitch looks like a nervous spider tried to draw a lightning bolt. You try again. The silk puckers, the gold thread twists. You mutter something softly, something you hope doesn't sound like begging. Modern day comparison. Imagine being told you'll be judged not just on your resume, but on your ability to embroider your own interview outfit by hand, in public, while wearing layers of formal wear, in 90% humidity. Someone pats your shoulder, not encouragingly, more like reassuringly, as if to say, you tried, and that is a type of success, a small, wrinkled one. Still, they don't take the needle away. Instead, you're offered a second strip of cloth less delicate, slightly sturdier, practice, material for people like you, people who sweat on silk and bleed on lace. You accept with the gratitude of a drowning person being handed a slightly damp board as you stitch. Your mind wanders. You think about all the layers you've already worn and shed. The oil, the powder, the perfume, the mango bark on your elbows. You wonder how much of beauty is really skin deep when so much of it involves labor. Round you, the others hum as they work. One woman sings softly, the melody curling through the air like jasmine smoke. You don't understand the words, but the tone is clear. This is not suffering. This is ritual, devotion, proof. Historians still debate the role of women in Javanese. Courtly life, were these skills empowering or restrictive? Was mastery of the kabaya an act of agency, or simply the required posture of those denied louder tools? Today, you don't feel quite restricted, you feel engaged. Even if your stitches are crooked and your shoulders ache from holding posture too long, eventually, you are deemed sufficient. Your thread is tied off, the cloth is folded, your needle is taken. You have produced something. Not art, not disgrace. Something in between. Then comes the real challenge. You are told it is time to wear what you've helped create. You're led into a dressing space, low wooden walls, mirrors made of polished bronze, and hanging garments that shimmer faintly in the filtered light. A finished kabaya, embroidered in gold thread, is lifted with both hands like an offering. This one is not yours, not yet, but it is your size. And you've earned the right to wear it for the evening procession. It fits barely. The sleeves are snug, the buttons are mysterious, the collar is aggressive. But once it's on, once the folds are arranged and the sash tied just so, you look like someone in charge of something important, possibly weather, possibly crops. You turn to the mirror. Your reflection startles you. Gone is the person who stumbled off a bamboo mat with powder in their eyes and a swan that slithered south. In their place is someone polished, precise, still uncomfortable, still sweating, but radiant in a way that can't be bought, only endured. You step outside and join the line of women preparing for the temple walk. The procession is slow, rhythmic, each step calculated, quiet. A poem written with the feet. You do your best to follow. Your sandals creak in protest. Your thighs argue. Your bun shifts slightly left. But you hold steady. People watch from their porches. Children point. The elders nod. At one point, a breeze moves through the group, lifting the hem of your kabaya ever so slightly. The gold thread catches the light. It shimmers. It is imperfect, slightly crooked. And yes, it was your stitched. Modern comparison. Think of a red carpet where every bead on the dress was sewn with your own late-night existential dread. And the crowd only applauds if they see you sweat gracefully. At the temple, you bow. You kneel. You pray, mostly for your knees. Incense. Smoke curls round your neck. The light fades. And then, just as your legs start to cramp, someone hands you a bowl of rice and a sweet cake wrapped in banana leaf. You eat. You breathe. You feel whole. For a brief moment, the world doesn't itch. Your skin doesn't burn. Your elbow doesn't tingle. The gold thread on your shoulder glows like approval. You made this. You are this. And tonight, you belong. You're awake before the rooster. That's how committed you are now. Or perhaps it's just that you haven't really slept. Your body aches from posture. Your hair smells like a cross between sandalwood and old effort. And your stomach is making quiet threats about the strange herbal tea they gave you last night. Today is about restraint. Not just any kind. Not the skit dessert kind. We're talking spiritual, sartorial, digestive restraint. Because today, you're going to learn what it means to have the elegant frailty of a noble woman. And it begins, naturally, by not eating. You're invited more like gently coerced into a small pavilion, where 7 old women sit already dressed, already glowing, already composed in that gentle I've been awake since moonlight sort of way. You On the other hand, arrive with your kabaya only halfway buttoned, your sash slightly crooked, and the energy of a dehydrated HOUSEPLANT. They offer you tea. Not the comforting, sleepy kind. This one is greenish-brown, smells like a bitter apology, and has steam that carries warnings. You drink it, it tastes like boiled secrets. It's made of herbs known for purifying the blood and shrinking the form. That is, it's a fasting tea, a slow, floral-laced nudge toward lightness. You're informed that this is part of the beauty standard in courtly Java. Not thinness for thinness sake, but refined delicacy. A softness, a way of moving as if your body had simply whispered itself into being. The less food involved, the better. Your breakfast is a slice of cucumber and a spoonful of rice porridge, so bland it feels like eating your own humility. You chew slowly. The others sip their tea with detached calm. No one's chewing. You become acutely aware of your jaw. It feels aggressive. Loud. Not in comparison. Imagine showing up to a yoga retreat only to discover the breakfast buffet is spiritual minimalism, and you've already overeaten by smelling the fruit. Once the tea is gone, posture training begins. Yes, you heard that right. You're handed a flat wooden board and told to balance it on your head while walking slowly across the pavilion. The board is empty. The symbolism is not. You try. The board wobbles. Your spine curves. Your face contorts in determination. A child nearby giggles. You almost drop it. You do not. You try again and again. The goal is grace. Not just walking but gliding, floating. Looking like gravity is just a suggestion. You, however, look like someone doing a bad impression of a haunted marionette. A woman adjusts your shoulders. She places your hands just above your hips, gently tucked. You're told to imagine a line pulling the top of your head upward. You attempt serenity. You achieve rigidity. Still, after enough attempts, the board stays. Your steps grow smoother. Your breath slows. You are told, kindly, that you're now ready for the cleansing fast. You smile as if that means something fun. It does not. The fast involves no solid food for the rest of the day. Only tea, small sips of rice water, and quiet reflection. You're allowed to meditate, embroider, and if absolutely necessary, speak. What you are not allowed to do is complain. Instead, you're directed toward the weaving hall. It's quiet, filled with slow-moving fans and women seated on the floor, beside looms, some of which look older than memory itself. You are assigned a simple pattern, not to weave, thankfully not yet, but to observe, to understand how patience creates beauty, the way a single thread, pulled slightly wrong, can distort an entire motif. You sit, you watch. Your stomach gurgles. No one reacts. You sip more tea. It doesn't help. Historians still argue whether these fasting rituals were rooted in religious practice, class division, or simply aesthetics. Some claim it was about appearing untouchable, removed from desire. Others say it was just the most efficient way to maintain poise under 15 layers of clothing. Either way, your intestines are now attempting quiet sabotage. By midday, the heat has intensified. You've moved beyond hunger into a state of vague, existential floatiness. You begin to understand how elegant frailty isn't just an act, it's inevitable when your diet consists of boiled weeds and posture. You lie down briefly, head on your folded arms, the board nearby like a quiet reminder of how much still isn't sitting quite right in your life. A woman beside you touches your wrist gently. She holds out a small porcelain bowl filled with sweetened tamarind water. It's technically still within the fast. You sip. It's sour and soothing. It coats your stomach like an apology. You exhale, and you realize something. All of this, the tea, the fasting, the posture boards, the unspoken rules, it's not about punishing the body. It's about tuning it, making yourself more precise, more deliberate, a human sculpture honed by repetition and restraint. Marred in comparison, this is not so much a diet as it is a multisensory performance art piece about self-control. You are the canvas, and you are so hungry. Later, you walk in a slow circle with the other women, arms draped lightly behind your back, shoulders down, chin lifted. It's a sort of moving meditation. Occasionally, someone recites a line of poetry. You don't understand the words, but you nod anyway. It seems polite. As the sun sets, you are allowed a small bowl of warm rice porridge and a single steamed banana leaf parcel. Inside is grated coconut, palm sugar, and something green that may or may not be a vegetable pretending to be dessert. You eat it like it's a feast. It is. Someone smiles at you. You've made it. You fasted. You balanced. You glided. You did not pass out. These are victories in 18th century Java. They might even be considered flirtatious. You return to your mat, spine aching, stomach calm, mind oddly clear. You're still not used to the hunger, but you're learning what it means to carry yourself as if you're not burdened by your own needs, and from now. That's enough. You don't wake up so much. As slowly reassembled, your spine rives first, quietly announcing its displeasure. Then your shoulders, still drawn back from yesterday's posture training. Then your stomach, surprisingly quiet, empty, yes, but in that airy, half-holy kind of way that monks probably brag about. You sit up, the mat creaks, your joints murmur, like old wooden furniture. And just as you begin to believe that maybe, just maybe today will be gentle, someone points to your elbows. Again. Apparently, they've darkened overnight. You look down. They're not exactly dark, but they're not gleaming candle wax either. One looks like it's been quietly stewing in regrets. The other has what can only be described as a faint mango dye shadow from yesterday's exfoliating. Misadventure, the solution, you're told, is a combination of pounded henna leaves, mango bark, and patience. You're handed a rough stone and a tray of ingredients. You mash, you mix. The paste turns greenish-brown, thick as overcooked porridge, with a scent somewhere between lemon and library dust. You apply it to your elbows, your knees, the back of your neck. The mixture is gritty, cool, strangely comforting. You sit in the shade and wait for it to dry. It does slowly, then all at once, like a crack forming in your afternoon. Then, without warning, it's time to exfoliate. A young woman hands you a dried coconut husk. It's not sharp, but it's firm, meant for gentle abrasion. She says, you begin rubbing your elbow in slow circles. It flakes. You flake, small particles of paste, and possibly parts of your soul drift off into the air. You continue. And continue. Modern comparison. Imagine using a loofah made of bristle and judgment to erase evidence of ever having leaned on your own elbows. The results are visible. Not dramatic, but smoother, more even. Your skin is a little pink, but also a little proud. Then comes the dye. You're not painting a masterpiece, just adding color to skin that's been polished raw. Natural dyes are applied to the palms, the soles of your feet, and most importantly, your fingertips. Henna is the tool, but not the floral. Instagram style. Henna, you might know. This is subtler, just a warm amber hue, brushed in faint crescent shapes, meant to imply refinement. Not decoration. You dip your fingers into a bowl. It tingles, slightly cool, then warm. The color will deepen by evening. For now, your fingertips just look like they've whispered something secret to the earth. You hold your hands up to the light. They shimmer faintly, alive in a quiet way. Someone nods in approval. Another dabs a drop of jasmine oil onto your wrist. Scented, stained, Soothed, you are now ready for an important part of the day, sitting still attractively. That's not a joke. Courtly Javanese women were trained in the art of stillness, not just silence, but elegant repose. You are told to sit cross-legged on a low cushion, spine tall, shoulders soft, hands resting lightly on your knees, and then you do nothing. You simply exist. With intention, with poise. For 30 minutes. You think, at first, that this will be easy. Then your foot falls asleep. Then your left shoulder begins to itch. Then your lower back stages a mutiny. Still, you endure, you breathe. You maintain your new stillness face, which is somewhere between regal calm and I swallowed a bee but mustn't cause alarm. A servant brings tea. You don't move. Another brings a small tray of snacks, candied ginger, slivers of roasted coconut, palm sugar jelly. You incline your head slightly. That's all. The food sits there. You resist it. You are, after all, still embodying restraint from yesterday. The jelly twitches. You remain statuesque. Historians still debate whether this performance of stillness was spiritual, political, or purely aesthetic. Was it about internal peace, outer poise, or simply a way to make women appear serene, silent, and mysterious in rooms full of shouting men? Either way, you are now an unpaid participant in this long-standing debate. And your thighs are going numb. Finally, the bell rings, a soft chime. You're allowed to shift. You do so with all the dignity of a collapsing tent. But your hands remain still, fingers tinted, wrists centered, posture recovering. It's working. Later that day, a group prepares to visit the river for ritual washing, not bathing, exactly, but a symbolic gesture of renewal. You join them. You descend into the water slowly, strong height carefully, toes searching for a foothold in the silt. The water is cool. It moves gently round your ankles like an old lullaby. You splash your face. You let the dye swirl and fade slightly from your fingertips. You rinse your arms, your neck, not to cleanse, to reaffirm. You are becoming a person whose very sweat has meaning. Modern comparison. It's like rinsing your hands after an art project. But the point is not to clean off the paint, it's to show you once held a brush. As you walk back through the village, children point at your fingers. One says you look like a story. You don't know if that's a compliment. It might be. You pause at your doorway. Your elbows feel soft. Your hands are warm from sun and henna. Your shoulders ache. But it's a dignified ache, the kind you earn. That night, as you lie on the bamboo mat, you catch a faint scent of mango bark and jasmine oil rising from your wrists. You made it through a day devoted to your elbows. Somehow, it feels like progress. You wake up mid-pose, not the elegant, intentional kind, but the stiff, awkward kind you accidentally fall asleep in when trying to lie gracefully. Your neck has questions. Your lower back has answers. The bamboo mat beneath you has left a faint lattice imprint on your cheek that somehow feels like a gentle critique. Outside, the village is already breathing into motion. Pots clink, feet shuffle, chickens narrate the dawn in erratic bursts. But today, no one rushes you. That's your first warning. There's a sense of ceremony in the air, not celebration, more like inspection. As you rise, smoothing your sarong, someone places a delicate hand on your shoulder and says just one word: Latihan. Training. Again. You follow the women past the outer courtyard, through a winding corridor of draped fabrics and shaded walkways, until you reach a quiet hall with polished floors and walls that hold sound like secrets. Here, beauty is no longer about appearance, it's about motion. Or more precisely, stillness in motion. Today is about gaze training. That's right. Your eyes are about to go to school. You sit on a low cushion facing a panel of older women. No one is smiling. This is not a test of charm. It's a calibration. Where you look, when you blink. How long you hold eye contact with someone of higher status. How softly you shift your gaze when spoken to. You are expected to feel graceful through your eyes. And you are currently blinking like a confused owl. They begin with posture. Your head must tilt slightly, never upward, never too low, chin gently down, eyes forward. But diffused, you're not staring. You're presenting availability to perception. You try immediately. Someone taps your wrist. Too sharp. You try again. Too uncertain. You finally manage a gaze that doesn't offend the elders or cause them to mutter in low Javanese about your modern soul being unteachable. Now comes walking. You are told to glide while maintaining your focus at a downward angle not so low as to appear timid, but never direct. Your feet must move silently. Your eyes must seem calm. Your soul must pretend it has no weight. It's harder than it sounds. You trip over your own dignity halfway across the hall. The child watching from a corner giggles so quietly it echoes. Mild in comparison. Imagine trying to walk like a gliding empress while staring vaguely at the middle distance. Holding eye contact with no one and pretending you're not actively suppressing a leg cramp. You practice turns, how to pivot your shoulders without shifting your gaze too much, how to acknowledge a greeting with only your lashes, how to make your presence felt without using words. You're essentially learning how to become an ambient. Mood. Historians still argue whether this training was ceremonial or performative. Was it about embodying inner calm, or just about managing visibility within a rigid social order? The answer, you suspect, is yes. After the first hour, your face begins to twitch, your temples ache, your eyebrows attempt rebellion. You are given a short break. A bowl of cold water is passed. You wash your face gently. It feels like forgiveness, but then comes the fan. You are handed a folded palm leaf fan and instructed to incorporate it into your stance, not for heat, for gesture. The fan is not waved. It is suggested, tilted, held, moved with intention. Too much motion and you look impatient. Too little and you disappear. The fan becomes your punctuation. You hold it at your side. You shift it toward your chest. You tilt it slightly when you turn your head. The fan is now part of your sentence. You are learning to speak without words. Your eyes, meanwhile, are adjusting, blinking less, moving more slowly. Not darting, not searching. You feel yourself entering a kind of visual trance. It's tiring, but oddly peaceful. Later, in a shaded garden, you and the others practice sitting again. This time with gaze posture included. You sit still, fan in lap, eyes half lowered, spine straight. Birds chirp above you. One lands briefly on the bamboo railing and watches you. You resist the urge to look at it. Someone behind you whispers, "Good, you've passed a microtest." Modern you might compare this to trying to model in a perfume ad while simultaneously meditating, while also pretending you don't see the dog licking your sandals. By dusk, your head feels too full. Your limbs ache from being held just so. Your face hurts from not moving it. But when you catch your reflection in a pool of water near the gate, you see someone else, not a performer, not a mannequin, but someone contained. You see beauty without vanity, intention without effort. You see someone who has learned to be seen without seeking attention. As you walk back to your mat, a woman brushes past you and says, "You blinked less today." You think it's a compliment. You smile anyway. The floor is made of bamboo, and your spine knows every groove. You slept crooked again. Your pillow, if it can be called that, has flattened to a polite suggestion, and as you open your eyes, you Find that the rooster has skipped his line this morning. A small mercy. You sit up slowly, bones whispering. Your arms carry the weight of yesterday's postures. Your neck carries the memory of restraint, and your toes are still quietly haunted by the fan exercise. But today you're not walking. Today you're lying down, sort of. Welcome to the art of sleeping beautifully. It sounds restful. It is not. In 18th century Java, particularly among women of noble or courtly households, nighttime wasn't a collapse into comfort, it was a continuation of form. Sleep was posture's final exam. You're not meant to sprawl. You're not meant to snore. You're meant to rest elegantly, as though someone might walk by at midnight and judge your spirit alignment based solely on the angle of your elbows. You begin with your mat then. Ribbed bamboo slats tied together like unresolved family tension. On top of this, a single woven sheet, mildly frayed, faintly floral, and as breathable as a sigh. No mattress, no cushion, no forgiveness. You lie flat on your back, feet together, hands resting over your stomach or folded softly at your sides. Your head rests on a bolster stuffed with dried kapok, slightly too high. Your neck is in therapy now. You are instructed not to curl, not to tuck your knees, not to flip onto your side. These are signs of bodily need. You are cultivating grace. Even in your dreams, you try. Your legs twitch, your hips protest. You discover muscles in your lower back you didn't know could file complaints. Still, you lie there. And because this is Java, and because this is sleep, and because sleep is never simple here. The mosquitoes arrive. They are not gentle. They are not few. They are plentiful, organized, and ambitious. You are oiled, yes, and faintly perfumed, yes, and to them you're seasoned. A breeze stirs the mosquito netting woven from fine cotton, slightly yellowed by age. It billows faintly, like a ghost trying to make small talk. You're told to sleep beneath it, without moving it, without letting it touch your skin. If it brushes your arm, it becomes a hammock for insects. If you shift too hard, you might undo the careful geometry of your own defense system. Modern-day comparison. Imagine trying to fall asleep on a yoga mat in a greenhouse while balancing a net above your face, knowing that if it slips, nature wins. Eventually, the fatigue settles deeper. You begin to drift not from comfort, but from sheer surrender. Your breathing slows. Your fingers stop twitching. And just as you begin to hover between wakefulness and dream, someone shuffles past outside your sleeping area with a bundle of firewood, their footfall jarring enough to remind you, this world does not pause for your rest. You shift. The mat creaks, the net flutters. A mosquito seizes the opportunity. You slap your arm. The sound echoes. Silence follows. You stare at the thatched ceiling and wonder whether elegance ever included vengeance. Historians still debate the purpose of these sleep rituals. Were they about discipline, health, the preservation of form and social class even while unconscious? Or were they simply learned behaviors, internalized across generations by women expected to be watched at all hours, even by the moon? You don't know. You only know your left foot is asleep and your right ear is picking up every whisper of every insect within a 10-meter radius. The mat smells faintly of smoke and pressed flowers. Your blanket is thin but soft. You fold it over your torso, not for warmth, but for structure. The idea is containment. A body neatly arranged is a soul at rest. You lie still. You exhale. You drift. Then you hear it. The rustle of something in the thatch above. Small feet. Lizard. Maybe. Or spirit. You close your eyes and tell yourself it's part of the ambience. Someone snores softly, elegantly, as if apologizing mid-breath. You attempt the same. Your own breathing slows. Your limbs grow heavier. Your mind loosens its grip. You float not away, but into the night, into the weight of ritual, into the soft hush of a world where rest is as sculpted as daylight. Eventually, sleep comes, not like a curtain drawn, but like a veil placed carefully over your thoughts. And in that moment, beneath the mosquito net, on the hard mat, in the swelter of candle at dusk, you finally understand what it means to be beautiful without anyone watching. Morning arrives like a polite nudge, no abrupt light, no loud sounds, just the slow bloom of humidity pressing against your eyelids. You open them to a pale ceiling and a room that smells faintly of sandalwood, river dust, and sleep that had to pass an etiquette test. You stretch carefully, because every joint has now learned it's being watched. Even in slumber, you rise, straighten your blanket with the reverence of someone who knows what scrutiny awaits, and shuffle out into the courtyard barefoot and slightly more waxy than human. Today is different. You're told to dress in your best kabaya, a specific one, pale blue with gold stitching threads you didn't embroider, but have now been entrusted with. It's not for a festival, it's for a bath. That's right. Today, you'll go in to bathe like royalty, which sounds lovely, except in 18th century Java, royal bathing is not exactly about personal hygiene. It's a performance, a public one. You are not so much washing as being seen washing ritual somewhere between social theater and political advertisement. You are led through a grove of canopied trees until the air smells greener and the sound of water begins to rise. Ahead, a stone pool reveals itself rectangular, still, edged in moss and carved reliefs. This is no casual river dip. This is the Pamandian, the sacred bath. You remove your outer sash but remain clothed in the kabaya. Modesty is non-negotiable. Even bathing here is more symbolic than sensual. The idea is purification of body, mind, and political status. You are a body becoming poetry in slow motion. You step into the water. It's cool. Not cold, but honest. It wraps around your ankles. Like an evaluation, you move deeper, inch by inch, until the fabric of your kabaya blooms round your thighs and your arms float like stitched sails. The water laps gently at your chest. Your reflection wavers. Your composure must not. The pool is surrounded by tiers of stone seating. Women watch from above. Some are servants. Others are nobles, a few wives, cousins, daughters of court officials are somewhere in between. There's a hierarchy in the way they sit, the way they whisper, the way their sarongs drape over the steps like flags of subtle intention. And somewhere among them, sitting in partial shadow, not many, just enough. Historians still debate whether royal bathing was ever truly private. Some argue that observation was part of the performance where visibility conveyed influence, allure, readiness. Others suggest it was about being witnessed by the divine, with architecture as the intermediary. Either way, you now find yourself treading the thin surface between sacred ritual and public audition. You float, you kneel. You dip your hands and rinse your face, slowly, without breaking rhythm. Each motion must appear effortless, even though your soaked kabaya now weighs as much as your unresolved childhood fears. A woman wades over and pours a ladle of water over your back. It trails down your spine like cold poetry. You exhale. The sound is barely audible, but someone notices. You look upward briefly. A man meets your eyes, only for a moment. Then he looks away. That's how status is measured here. Not in how long one stares, but how cleanly they leave it. Modern comparison. Imagine stepping into a cold plunge at a luxury spa while wearing an embroidered wedding dress and being evaluated silently by everyone who might affect your future social standing. You move to the edge of the pool where shallow stone channels trickle water over carved lotus. Blossoms, you sit, wash your arms. Let water rinse away yesterday's oil and ritual. But not all of it. The skin remembers. A girl beside you begins humming. The others join. It's not a song you recognize, but it hangs in the air like the steam rising off the stones thick. Low, melodic. You join. Softly. Your voice doesn't quite match, but your tone carries effort. That's what counts. Eventually. You leave the water. Not in a rush, not dripping. You rise as if lifted. The wet kabaya clings to your body. But no, one stares. That's not how this works. They look with purpose, not with hunger. The cloth is wrapped round you, not to dry, to finish the frame. You sit in the sun, letting warmth do what towels never will. Your skin tightens slightly. Your knees steam. Your hair smells of water and lotus and effort. You feel cleansed, but in the way that makes you more visible, not less. You are offered a cup of hot tea and a small slice of steamed banana. You eat without slouching. Even your chewing must be composed. You've grown used to this by now. By the time the sun climbs high enough to bleach the pool into mirror light, the bathing ritual ends, slowly, with no signal, just a shared shift in breath. You rise again, damp, glowing, tired, but also prepared. Not for anything specific, just for the next gaze, the next gesture, the next quiet expectation that you will walk through the world like water doesn't cling to you. You return to the village. Your kabaya dries in rippling patterns. Your feet leave gentle prints in the path behind you. And tonight, when you lie down on the mat again, you will sleep not just clean but witnessed. You wake to the rustle of silk and the sharp smell of turmeric the air hums with. Anticipation brighter, faster, laced with the specific kind of urgency reserved for celebrations you're not fully prepared for. Today is a festival, a real one. Not another ritual disguised as routine. This one has music, food, phases painted with intention. As you quickly learn, a beauty contest. You are not ready. Your hair is oiled before you can protest. Hands gather it into a bun tighter than your dignity. Fragrant smoke is lit, this time with clove and jasmine, spiraling up like a ceremonial alarm. You are dressed in your finest kabaya again, this time brighter, stiffer, newly starched to the edge of cruelty. Your stomach tenses, your knees already. Now they're going to suffer. The courtyard is alive. Women move like candle flames in colored layers of batik and gold-threaded sashes. Music floats from the gamelan set at the far end, soft and hypnotic, each metallic tone bending in the heat like a question without a hurry. The sky is bright, but not cruel yet. You are ushered into a shaded area where makeup is being applied. With the precision of sculpture. Your turn comes. You kneel. A woman with impossibly steady hands dips a brush into a paste of charcoal and flower resin. Your eyelids are closed. She paints with care. Your brows are already high and thin from earlier plucking, but she adjusts their angle slightly with a bit of ground clove. Next, a sweep of red along the cheeks, crushed betel mixed with powdered hibiscus, dabbed just under your cheekbones. Lips are tinted, not too much, but just enough to imply you're alive and probably trustworthy. You peek in a mirror, the face, looking back at you isn't yours exactly, it's the idea of you, curated and softened, edged with ancient expectation. You try to smile. Your lips crack slightly. A woman pats them with oil. You are lined up now, beside others, girls with glimmering skin and quieter feet, some older, some younger, all perfectly still, except for the occasional blink or shallow breath. You stand among them, posture aching already, arms lightly pressed to your sides, chin lifted, The crowd begins to gather. It's unclear who's judging. That's part of the game. Modern comparison. Imagine a school picture day merged with a public audition. But nobody tells you the cameras, or if the lens is even real. You simply stand, beaming grace into a void. The music shifts. A procession begins. Each girl steps forward, walks a short path across the courtyard, bows faintly, then returns. Their movements are elegant, slow. You notice their feet are pointed just slightly outward, their sarongs full in clean lines. No one stumbles, no one speaks. Your turn. You step forward, one foot, then the other. You keep your arms still. You remember the board, the fan, the gaze training. You channel it all. Your back straightens, your knees soften, you float. And yet, even as you perform, your brain runs wild. Is your bun tight? Did the Betel tint smear? Does your sarong show the crease from sitting? You walk the path, not once at the end, then pivot. Praying your turn doesn't unravel all previous dignity. You return to your place, heart pounding, face motionless. A small child watches you from behind a bench and smiles. You smile back. Then remember you weren't supposed to. URECOMPOSE. No winner is announced. That's not how this works. There are no prizes, just murmurs and nod. A whisper, a glance from someone across the courtyard. Beauty here isn't scored. It's absorbed. The crowd decides, silently, whom it will remember tomorrow. As the formalities ease, music swells, drums enter, dance begins. You are pulled into it, not as a performer, but as a participant. Someone tugs your wrist, spins you gently into a spiral. You follow. Your body remembers something from the early training, how to move like you're thinking of something else, how to turn your ankle just so, how to smile without showing teeth, how to laugh without opening your mouth. The courtyard dances with dust and joy. Palm sugar sweets are passed down on banana leaves. You take one, bite into it. It sticks to your teeth in the most heavenly way. Your mouth blooms with flavor you forgot existed: coconut, ginger, melted brown sugar wrapped in fire and memory. You sit at the edge of the celebration, knees folded, watching others shimmer. Your fingers still stained faintly from yesterday's henna. Your cheeks flushed not from rouge but from the thrill of surviving. Historians still argue whether these contests were political tools or genuine celebrations of beauty. Some suggest they were subtle ways of displaying marriageable prospects. Others say it was more about social hierarchy: who could afford the best fabric, who stitched the most convincing humility into their presence. But none of them had to stand in that sun, in that silence, hoping a passing gaze would find them graceful enough. As twilight falls, lanterns are lit, the music slows. The women begin to drift homeward, their sarongs now loosened just a little, their posture softened by dusk. You linger. The warmth of the crowd still pulses faintly in your chest. A woman walks past and says only, "Noticed," then disappears into the dark. You don't know what she means, but you carry it with you. That night, when you wash off the paste and unpen your bun, you find yourself staring at the bowl of water longer than usual. Your reflection no longer startles you. You look like someone who belongs, not because you won, not because you impressed, but because you endured. You showed up. You glided when you wanted to run. You smiled with cracking lips. You danced with sore legs, and tomorrow you'll do it again. The final morning begins quietly. No fanfare, no incense, no clove smoke curling from braziers. Just the soft shuffle of feet outside your mat, the rhythmic cluck of a particularly self-important chicken, and a breeze that smells like wet stone and boiled cassava. You wake slowly. No urgency presses you today. No one hovers with a jar of oil or points to your elbows with purposeful concern. You stretch, tentatively. Nothing cracks your body. After weeks of protest, has decided it can survive this after. All not today. The rituals have already begun, but not for you. Today, you watch. You are no longer the new girl. You've been here too long, endured too much. Sat too many hours with your spine ramrod straight to be treated as merely visiting. So, when you are led to the center courtyard and handed a small dish of frangipani petals and polished rice, you understand. This is your farewell. Or rather, you are marking a quiet, symbolic closure. You are dressed one last time in ceremonial kabaya, this one in a soft bronze color that blends into your skin as if it was always meant to. No gold embroidery today, just fine lines, thin threads, muted grace. A small procession begins. Women walk round you in slow loops, trailing gowns, humming softly. One stops to touch your forehead with a dab of turmeric paste. Another places a fresh flower behind your ear. You do not move. You have learned how to stand still, how to breathe without interrupting ceremony. This stillness is not discomfort now. It is discipline, familiar, your home. A girl places a bowl at your feet. You kneel, take a pinch of the rice and petals, and scatter them in a slow arc before you. This is symbolic, releasing beauty back into the world. What you've gathered, what you've worn, what you've carried, let go. Someone nearby whispers something you don't catch. You smile. You don't need to know. The message is already in your bones. The crowd begins to disperse. There's no feast, no announcement, no applause. This isn't an ending. It's an absorption. You're not leaving. You're simply now part of the structure. You walk through the village one last time, barefoot, arms at ease. No one stares, no one instructs. But you know they're watching, and you move like someone worth watching. The sarong sways just right. The scarf holds its place. Your footsteps make no sound. Remember your first day, sticky skin, patchy powder. A sarong that betrayed you with every breath. Your shoulders were tense, your elbows stained, your smile unsure. Now, your body hums with quiet competence. Even your fan, folded neatly at your side, seems to rest with pride. You visit the river once more, not to bathe, just to see the water move. You sit on a stone and listen to it pass. Gentle and indifferent, the breeze touches your cheek like recognition. Historians still puzzle over what beauty meant in these quiet courtyards, whether it was power disguised as poise, or simply a code for a surviving silence. They debate whether women carved out agency through rituals, or were merely carved by them. But what the scholars miss is the small truth, that it is both. You have become beautiful not by ornament, but by attrition. You have folded yourself into each ritual until it folded round you. You carry the weight of grace in your fingers, your wrists, your gaze. You belong now not because you were accepted, but because you accepted the rules and lived through them. As the sun begins to lower, you return to your mat. Your blanket is folded, your bolster just slightly less uncomfortable than before. You lie down, not with relief, but with understanding. You don't know who you were when this began. Some person with modern posture and untrained ankles, full of blinking and complaining and fan misuse. But that person has been politely exfoliated away. You close your eyes. The village exhales round you. No one says goodbye. But someone sets a small bowl of betel near your pillow, just in case. Tonight you've traveled far, not in distance, but in layers through the careful folds of cloth. The soft sting of ritual, the stillness of a gaze held just long enough to be understood. Your journey wasn't loud. It didn't come with horns or declarations. It whispered. It taught through repetition, through the curve of your spine against a map that never softened, through the scent of smoke that clung longer than memory, through the weight of your own reflection gradually growing quieter. The discomforts you all became second skin. The things that once made you in soils, powders, silence became small comforts, each one an old instruction your body learned to follow. And now, resting here, in the hush that follows entrance, your breath begins to even out, your jaw softens, the air around you thickens just slightly. Like dusk never quite left, your feet, once unsure, have stopped shifting. Your hands, once restless, now lie still beside you. The soundscape of distant drums and rustling palms has faded into a gentler rhythm. Your heartbeat, slow and steady. And the creak of bamboo that says, yes, you're still here. And yes, you made it. Let go of the posture now. Let the elegance slide off your shoulders like the day's last shawl. You don't need to hold it anymore. You've already proved you could. You've walked the path. You've bent the spine. You've polished the elbows. You've watched yourself disappear into a world that asked for a quiet beauty, and you emerged with grace. So breathe deep. Deeper. Let the air be warm and slow. Let your thoughts loosen at the edges like softened thread. Let this silence wrap you the way fabric once did, with intention, with care. You're clean now, quiet, and safe in the modern world, where plumbing exists.